On today's episode of the DNVR Broncos Podcast, we are talking about the most valuable Broncos. Is Pat Surtain or Bo Nix number one? We're going 1 through 10 there. We're going to talk about ESPN's list of the best guards in the NFL. We'll round things out, hopefully, if we have time, by talking about the Week 16 matchup, I believe, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, tune in. We're going to start here in about 30 seconds. This is the DNVR Broncos Podcast, still without a presenting sponsor, which I hate. And I get there's business reasons for that, but feels like it should be presented by every time, because for 3 years it was always DNVR Buffs Podcast, presented by whoever.
Right.
But we're in the Toyota Lounge. You guys are in the Toyota chat. I'm here, and Dre was supposed to be here, but he forgot he has to go talk to a bunch of kids this morning, is my understanding.
He's helping teach the youth.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Sure. Yeah, which is kind of a crazy thing to me, but they had to choose somebody. Instead, we've got Jake.
Yes, sir.
Buffs guy Jake. You guys been hearing him on the draft pod for
Long
5-6 years now. 2020 was your first draft.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a while.
Been a minute, bro.
Yes,
we've killed a lot of hours together.
We
Just by
really
talking
have.
on microphones, and I'm with you with the presenting though. I need to flow in the intro.
it just feels like something's missing without it. Yeah. I don't know. We'll tell
What's up,
sales.
chat?
Yeah. Should be a fun show today. We are going to rank the top 10 most valuable Broncos. We're going to hit another ESPN list. We're in a weird spot with those where 3 of them came out over the weekend. We've got to save quarterbacks because that one's going to be like a ridiculous show. But we've got the interior linemen, the tackles. We'll probably just let you choose if either one of those is more interesting. Also, go Montana. Hi, Scott. No, you don't ban Scott. We like Scott for that. Let's just dig in right at the top.
Let's do it.
Might as well. Top 10 most valuable Broncos.
Okay.
Number 1. I feel like there's 2 guys at the top.
There are 2 guys at the top.
And it's Pat Surtain and it's Bo Nix. And you probably have to start by like making the rules. Like, what are we doing here? And to me, this is similar to like most valuable player, MVP conversation. So contracts aside, I think you just look at who does more for the Broncos. And it's weird with some of these conversations because you say like, well, taking Pat away, who are the backups? Or like taking Bo away. And you just have to assume like, I feel like replacement level, just like low end starter, fringe starter comes in instead. Like, how are you compared to that? How big is the difference? How valuable are you? And Bo or Pat, who is more valuable to the Broncos?
I mean, with how you just laid it out, Pat was the defensive player of the year.
That's the thing.
I feel like there's a big drop off between the defensive player of the year and the replacement level player.
I agree.
But then, where does positional value take place in this, though?
It's big, right?
Yeah.
If you're going into the season and you say like you either don't have Bo or you don't have Pat.
I
don't like either.
That's a different question, though. That's a different question.
But most valuable to your team, but also just like in general to any given team, I guess is a better way to look at it. It takes away some of you have Jahdae Barron who comes in off the bench.
Look, we've wanted a quarterback for so long. We got one. Let's do the right thing. I think,
I think that's right. And I think you can make the case. I think like what Pat Surtain does for a defense is kind of similar to what a quarterback does for an offense. When you look at like how the matchups change, when you get to say either, hey, they've got a good number 1 receiver, guess what? That guy's just gone. Or you get to say like, we're just playing like he's playing on our left side. And that just means you're not throwing to the left side. There's just nothing there. And you get to condense the rest of your defense. Instead of having 9 guys over the other 2/3 of the field, it's 10 guys over the other 2/3 of the field. And what he does changes the game so much that, it's not a Patrick Mahomes type impact. But I do think that when you look at the difference between give Bo credit and say like above average quarterback at this point in his career, then versus like a below average low end starter. I don't know. I think there's a case to be made.
I'll let you make that case.
Okay.
So then, look, I mean, you don't have anything if you don't have a quarterback in the NFL. We lived through that.
It's true.
From 2016 until Bo got here, pretty much.
It's true.
So it's hard, especially now that you see the value. I mean, just compare last year to 23. Like the difference in the quarterback play made a world of difference.
Totally.
They made the playoffs because they had just consistent quarterback play. So,
and the defense was better.
yes,
You weren't
but
giving up 70 points.
we've had a good defense for a while now.
Gave up 70 points.
Look, if it was Vaughn instead, I think you could, like, in full confidence make that argument that a pass rusher who is one of the best in the league, who maybe didn't win DPOY, but has been in that conversation, is more valuable. Like, like Cowboys would probably say Micah's more valuable than Dak at this point, right?
Interesting. I wonder. I mean, well, Cowboys fans are delusional, so you have to start with like you have to weed out like just the insane ones because they all hate Dak and think they should get rid of Dak, which to me is a crazy thing to do because again, like to me, he's a top 10 quarterback pretty easily in the NFL. But yeah, the case is there. Like there's a thing, but going Bo is probably
the right
thing to do.
Yes.
It's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, the whole season kind of hinges on him, right?
Yeah.
They've upgraded a lot.
Totally.
I mean, that's where I'm at right now, where it's like you saw what Bo did last year.
Yep.
He just has to make a jump this next year. To, with the jump in the roster, the surrounding talent, like he's got to rise to that. If he doesn't rise to that, then, you might end up in a place where you were pre last year, honestly.
Totally.
But even if he kind of just sustains a little bit, the team overall is much better, and I think we'd feel like the team could eclipse the win total, how far they got in the playoffs, all that stuff. If he's just even a smidge better than he was last year, it has to be Bo.
Yeah, and you just assume the defense is going to be good, and I mean the offense is kind of just set up to go as far as Bo takes. Like so, coming out, Bo is one of the guys that you look at and say, "Hey, if you give him good receivers," first thing you said was he might be the easiest to win with right away.
Yes,
I think even neither of us were the highest on Bo.
Yeah,
but we saw that. Just given everything he's done, building an offense around Bo, not a hard thing to do. Like there are a lot of different little skill sets. You go RPO heavy, lean into the slants and some of that stuff. He should be able to win right away. It was always like a ceiling question with him.
Yeah.
And I think the ceiling has gone up just because we've seen more athleticism than we expected. Some of those things. So that's not the point. The point is, if you give him good weapons, he should look good.
Yeah.
But they haven't really given him good weapons. And I think,
but he still looked
good.
Exactly.
But I don't think that I don't think that they've put him in a situation where you can say like, oh, he's just going to put up crazy numbers because as somebody who we just want him distributing the ball here.
Yeah.
Let the playmakers make plays. It doesn't really work when your playmakers aren't in the upper echelon. And by a lot of rankings, the Broncos would have one of the 3 worst playmaking groups in the NFL.
Oh, no doubt.
Cortland Sutton's your number 1. We like Marvin Mims, but he hasn't proven it yet. Running backs, not really proven at this point. Tight end, Evan Ingram, an upgrade. So I think that's why the offense kind of goes as far as Bo takes it, because you don't have those other guys to lean on and say, oh, he's going to take it here. He's going to take it here, which again was the second half of like, how do you build an offense around Bo was you give him the quick throws, you let him stay on rhythm. Broncos use more screens than anybody in the NFL last year. And so you see all those things working, but what's missing is just those playmakers. And so it all kind of falls on Bo to take the offense to the next level, which is a lot of pressure on him.
Right, but then also I think, you pick Bo and you make him the most valuable Bronco. That's kind of a bet on Sean Payton too, which is a bet on the total team. So you kind of get both in one. I mean, what better coach to have than Sean Payton if you're a rookie, like how you just described, or you're going into your second year and you have to make this jump, So, Bo has to be the most valuable one. And the ties to Sean Payton, I think, alone could be enough for that. But you get into the positional argument and stuff that we just went through. I think it's quite clear.
While we're on it, what have you seen from Bo? Because like I said, like neither of us, we remember the draft show.
Yeah.
I wanted Brock Bowers. But Bo is Bo was better than either of us expected.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even knowing that he was the most pro ready.
Yeah.
Like he was the one who should show up and look good right away. But what has kind of changed with him in your mind while we're on Bo?
Oh, man, I don't know if it's changed. It's just getting a closer look at him. I mean, I'm not an Auburn or an Oregon fan, you know what I mean? I watched him like auxiliary like the last 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. For me, it was just how in command he was.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't look like a rookie out there. Like the way that he spoke to Sean, the way that Sean spoke to him, the way that Sean spoke about him, it just didn't sound like we were getting this quarterback in here who was new to the NFL. And then you look on the field and you look at the progression. I mean, he made plays on his own. And for me at like Auburn, I mean, the dude he had no help first off, but he was running around with a chicken with his head cut off.
Yep.
That's just kind of gone from his game. He's so much more composed. He makes much better decisions than he did in college, at least, pre that last year at Oregon. So to me, it's a lot of those areas. I mean, it's really what makes a quarterback, those kind of areas, right?
Yeah. And I think that in hindsight, you look back, because it was just chaos at Auburn.
Yes.
Like he was just doing...
He had nothing.
Yes. Which is the starting point. But he was just running around trying to find something that you try to... But I think at Oregon, he was in such a strict system that it felt like in some ways during like his draft process that was kind of masking some of those things that we'd seen before. I didn't feel like he was now this guy who was going to like think clearly and make the right read every time. I think that he was forced into a system that was so strict that was you're throwing this slant. If these simple RPOs, these quick throws, that there was no option but to do that. And as soon as you take him out of the college offense where it's just, everything happens so quick, you're told exactly what to do, your reads are very simple, that he would revert back to some of that Auburn type stuff. But he, like you said, he didn't revert back. It did seem like that wasn't just him being kind of pigeonholed in a way that protected him from himself, that was him growing. Yeah. He learned from that and was able to take what he learned there and put it to use. Even because it wasn't an NFL offense. Mm-hmm. Again, you look at the other concerns. I think, again, there were a lot of good stats for him, of course. Sean Payton famously said, you take away the behind the line of scrimmage stuff, he's still really good, because that was a concern. I was like, yeah, because you're throwing so many screens, doing that sort of stuff. And I think you still see a lot of that. Again, Broncos run more screens than anybody. It makes sense because that's what Bo is good at. It's kind of crazy when you look at the route tree from Marvin Mims. 48% of his targets are screens. Yeah. It's like, whoa. And they're more than that. They're like behind the line of scrimmage aren't screens, which just like little flat, little like whatever. And I think that there are still steps to grow. I think eventually you'd like to get away from that. Eventually you'd like to be able to do more downfield. Eventually you'd like to have a stronger running game so that you're trying to find some of these shorter, more consistent gains in other ways, more sustainable ways than throwing these screens that can eventually maybe become a little bit predictable. But yeah, with Bo, there's the physical stuff that's changed too. I think, again, better arm than we expected, better athleticism.
To me, he always had a pretty good arm.
Always honestly. Pretty good, yeah. It just wasn't one of those arms that you look at and say like, wow.
Not Josh Allen, yeah.
Exactly. I think the deep ball in college wasn't great. I think that
it got better at Oregon.
It did get better at Oregon. I think the stats in particular got better because there were a lot of deep passes where the receiver was coming back to the ball, which is kind of an interesting thing. Yeah, it wasn't hitting stuff. Exactly. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of like hit him in stride over the shoulder, but yeah, like now that we have a few examples of that last year and say like, oh, okay, this is something you can count on with him. I think that's something that ticks up. The athleticism, obviously, when we kind of look at him, similar to like a Jalen Hurts coming out of Oklahoma, the things that he was doing there. We looked at Bo Nix as a very similar quarterback, but just a little bit older and didn't have some of the special athletic traits.
Strength too.
Exactly. But now you start to see like some of those athletic traits are closer than we gave him credit for.
Yeah.
I think that ticks up. And I think all the third down playmaking, we saw it in college. We knew that was a strength of his, but the fact that it translated to the NFL as easily as it did, I think that's another big one. And that goes back to kind of the first thing, which is just like the instincts, the ability to make good decisions when you aren't just being told exactly what to do. It's easy to make a good decision when the option is we either hand this ball off or we throw the slant right here based on what they're doing. And Oregon's like RPO game was more complex than that. It was like a really cool RPO game, but I don't know.
Well,
that's a lot of thoughts on Bo.
No, I mean, you crushed it there. I mean, that's a good, like, really summary of how he's grown over the last, 16 months or maybe even a bit more. Someone had a question, is Sean's system strict? And I think that's a good question because I think initially I would say yes, it is strict. Sean very clearly has, certain things that he wants to do, certain things he wants to hit, certain things done a certain way. And so I'd say it's strict in that regard. But like as you saw with Drew Brees, as you grow, you get more comfortable, you become more elite, for lack of a better term. That freedom kind of opens up, but you're still obvious. The system kind of, you become one with the system, the coach, the quarterback, and the system in itself. So that's best I could answer that.
And certainly not as strict as like a college RPO offense.
Exactly.
We're going to get back into this list. But real quick, we got to give a shout out to some of our friends. In particular, we want to give a shout out to our friends over at Branded Bills. Branded Bills just has so many different hats. It's kind of crazy. Like you just look at the Montana Grizzlies hats, which maybe not everybody in the chat, Scott in the chat might be interested. They've got like 60 different Montana hats.
There you go.
I want to say, or maybe that's the state of Montana. I can't remember. I was looking a couple days ago. But on top of that, there's like a dozen different color options for all of them. So I think that was the Montana flag hats. So you wind up with just like, if you want Montana flag hat, there's like 1,000 different options.
How many do you have yet?
I still don't have any. I really, honestly, I kind of get overwhelmed. And so like,
I mean, your hat game is pretty top tier.
That is true. There are a lot of, I do have a, well, and I look at it as a bad thing where it's like, I just have so many hats. I can't say no when I see them.
Bro. Yeah, put a number on it.
I would guess that there are at least 50 hats.
Oh, you're right around where I'm at,
bro. There's probably like 20 or 20 plus in the rotation, I would guess.
And then the other ones are just kind of worn out.
Yeah, worn out or like unique but Branded Bills.
Exactly. That's
good hats. And they need to start making their way into the closet. I've also kind of been growing my hair out just so that I can go to the barber before camp and get like all how I want it. Cause like sometimes like the part moves. Right. You're just like, I want it down. Like
you're not going for the RK mullet?
No, not quite going for that. But eventually, like the part, you're just like, yeah, it might be better if it was just like a little bit lower, but you got to wait for those hairs to grow up so you can kind of do it. And so for these past like 2 months or so, ever since Mexico, really, big time hat. Branded Bills, best hats. If you're looking at hats, that's the place to go. And because they're a partner of ours, we can get you a decent deal, which I'm not sure why my internet is slow, but boys, at a bad time of it. 15% off.
BB DNVR maybe?
Whoa.
It says it on the screen.
BB. Oh, I thought you pulled that off the top of your head.
No.
Yeah, brandedbills.com. Use code BBDNVR for 15% off your top order. Wow, that was really impressive. I thought.
I got you, bro.
Also, Mando.
Yeah.
I've said before, I'm a Mando man myself now. Mando's everywhere.
They are.
And maybe it's always been everywhere, and it's one of those things where it's like, once you hear it, I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but there was one day I would have been like 6, maybe even younger than that. I don't even think I was. I might have been like 4 or 5. This is early memories, and so you try to do the math. I'm like, is this even possible? But I have a way to check. So I was at Kmart with my grandfather, and so we go there, and there's a shirt with the Hulk on it, and I was like, who's that? And he was like, that's the Hulk. Like, you haven't heard that's. And so he explained who the Hulk was. After that, everywhere you go, Hulk, Hulk, Hulk. Like, as soon as you know the Hulk exists, like the Hulk movie came out right after that. And I was like, wait, that's the guy from the shirt. Or like,
there's a name for this. It's a, I can't.
It's the red car theory that once you got a red car, you'll see the red car everywhere.
So
it's an actual theory. So like, if once you see it, you'll always have it in your mind. So you'll keep on the lookout. That's why you notice your same car everywhere else.
Yeah. But that happened to me with the Hulk when I was little, and I was just like, Lunchbox, Hulk. McDonald's toys, Hulk. Everywhere you look, Hulk. And it's probably because the movie was coming out.
Mando.
Exactly. But now, everywhere I look, you go to the grocery store, it's Mando.
It is
and
everywhere.
Maybe Mando's always been there, and I've just been too blind to see it.
That's probably the case, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Zach's in Japan, probably using the Mount Fuji, which Dre did not get that reference. He thought it was Fiji. Mount Fuji, famously, big that, Japanese mountain.
Dre with words, man.
Dre with kids today. Interesting. But yeah, Mando's got all sorts of different products. They're meant to be used everywhere. They've got all sorts of different stuff. The starter pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, mini body wash, deodorant wipes, free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code DNVR at shopmando.com. At shopmando.com for 20% off. That line repeated for 20% off plus free shipping. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
Well done.
All right. Whew, that was a lot of Mando.
All right, let's move through this list.
So Bo Nix, Pat Surtain.
Yep.
After that, I think it really opens up. I remember we're talking like in terms of MVP, in terms of like who does the most for you on the field. I get right now in this season. Yep. They're included. Okay. But so you don't have to look at future value. It's just who is your valuable player, who's right up there preseason MVP odds. Who you got?
I mean, look, man, there's, as you said, there's quite a few ways you could go.
Totally.
Obviously, Quinn Meinerz comes up.
Yep.
I'd have to say RJ Harvey or maybe J.K. Dobbins. I could be swayed either way. I think a running back is pretty valuable for this team, as we saw last year. And then Dre Greenlaw, if he's healthy completely,
okay,
and he is the player who is, obviously the Achilles plays a factor, but if he gets close to his peak as he can, this is a game-changing player. This is something we haven't had in Denver, and I mean, we talk about this on the draft pod a lot. When's the last time we had like a true, like, besides 2015?
Al Wilson?
Exactly.
I would include.
I mean,
2015. Even like you're hoping Dre Greenlaw's a Pro Bowler. Like Dan Trevathan and Brandon Marshall, good linebackers, not Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
Like you're hoping for better than that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'd say running backs, it's too early for me.
Okay.
In part because it's the fact that they're two kind of explains it, like you rotate guys there. If you don't have one, like you still have others. And on top of that, not super proven. RJ Harvey, obviously a rookie, so you just don't know at all what you're going to get. J.K. Dobbins, hot start last year, the finish not so hot, and then the injuries and how does that factor in? Was that part of the problem last year? Who knows? I think let's start with this offensive line. Quinn Meinerz is the most valuable offensive lineman, right?
Clearly.
Okay, because again, like Garrett Bowles playing tackle, if you lose him versus losing a guard, but I agree, it is Quinn.
Okay, I mean, so in the context of the season, yes, losing Bowles would be pretty tremendous.
Yeah.
But in terms of better players, like I think that
I agree.
That's what you were going off, right? Like best players. You said replacement
most
level.
Most valuable. You replace them with replacement level. Which loss stings more? Who's going to be more valuable to the Broncos? But also, like, don't think too specifically about the Broncos because then you get into backers and stuff. I mean, I think positional value, there is a case for Bowles.
There is.
But I go Quinn. Especially when the running game was disappointing last year.
Yeah.
Like you're average in yards, you're a little below average in efficiency. You need that to go up. We had the conversation with Bo. Like you're not going to have receivers make plays for you. You have to make plays yourself if you're Bo Nix. If the running game can make plays, then all of a sudden you take so much of a burden off of that. And I think for that reason, Quinn is more valuable than Garrett.
And I think, honestly, Sean, really values interior offensive linemen. I think maybe way higher than...
Stepping up in the pocket.
Well, exactly. That's how Drew Brees became so successful. They surrounded him. Man, these names. Carl Nix was one who played guard for a long time in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Jari Evans, I think, was another.
Yep.
Zach Strief also played guard back then.
Offensive line coach now.
They drafted Cesar Ruiz in the first round. Did. Like he really values those interior guys, and obviously Quinn Meinerz is probably next on that list in terms of obviously his coaching timeline. But the talent is quite clear, and I think Sean he'd pound the table for an argument that Quinn Meinerz should be high on this list.
So Quinn Meinerz, Cortland Sutton, Evan Ingram are the kind of the next three to me on this offense. Unless you want to get Bowles, I guess Bowles could be in there too.
Bowles, someone brought up Zach Allen. I mean, the two guys on defense from free
Zach
agency.
Allen might be the right answer right at this spot. Nik Bonitto, haven't said his name.
Pass rusher. more valuable. We were talking about that when it comes to like quarterback. He might be the next most valuable.
Totally. I mean, 13 sacks last year.
Top 5 defensive player
there aren't
voting.
A lot of guys who, I mean, third in the NFL in sacks.
And I love Nik Bonitto. You don't have to convince me.
Turnover machine.
I feel like all these guys. Let's see. Where would I go? I go. Yeah, I'd have it narrowed down to Quinn, Zach Allen, and Nik Bonitto for this spot. Maybe Evan Ingram sneaks his way in just because, again, like if that's that'd be old Broncos specific in that you're hoping that he's kind of unlocking things, but he's probably behind those other 3.
I mean, you could make an argument for tight end, in my opinion. I think we're kind of. I mean, look, you got to stick with the trenches.
You do like Greenlaw, yeah.
In some regard,
I could get behind some Greenlaw.
I just think that he could completely change this defense. I mean, we've seen what it's looked like. A very good defense without. Or with average to, maybe above average at best linebacker play at times. If you get good linebacker play, man, this defense is you'll see it jump another level that I don't think a lot of people thought would be possible.
Yep.
Contracts play a role in this at all?
No.
Then you just put I think you got to go left tackle or the edge then.
Let's, okay. Let's go, I'd go Bonitto in front.
Okay.
Zach Allen tempts me, though. Should he, though? At the end of the year, is it more likely we're going to be saying, like, MVP voting on your ballot? Who goes higher? I think Bonitto probably does go higher.
Exactly.
I think Bonitto is next up.
What kind of season does Zach Allen need to have for you to just point at it and go, that's more valuable?
Well, I mean, we had it last year. Like, Zach Allen played really well. 8.5 sacks, all pro, all those sorts of things. And with a few weeks left in the season, we were saying, like, should Nik Bonitto be Defensive Player of the Year?
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
I think it probably should be. It probably should be Bonitto.
Yeah.
Yep. I might go Zach Allen right behind him, though.
I would not argue with that.
Okay. And then I think I'd go Meinerz, and then Bowles.
I thought we put Meinerz up higher.
Oh, have we not done Meinerz? Okay, then let's do that.
I thought we put him up at number 3.
So let's do Meinerz at 3.
Yeah.
4 is
Bowles.
Bonitto.
Bowles.
5 Bowles, 6 Zach Allen, and then we got 7, 8, 9, 10. We like Greenlaw in there. We like Ingram is probably right. Like if you're expecting Ingram to go out there and have an 800-yard season, you're expecting Court. He goes and has 1,100 yards even. The tight end production is probably more valuable, right?
I mean, there's also a world where he's, in terms of pass catchers and receivers, he's your best receiver.
I agree.
Know what I mean? So, and this is another position. It's like linebacker. When's the last time? I mean, Owen Daniels had a run, in 2015, right? I mean, before that, it's Julius Thomas was the last impact player the Broncos had at tight end. If you get an impact player at tight end with this squad, I think that you're going to see. I mean, look, you guys have talked ad nauseum about what Sean does with his tight ends and what he did at New Orleans with them. So if Evan Ingram's the next one, man, that's pretty valuable.
Yep, I agree. Should we put him? Should we go Greenlaw 7 and then 8 Ingram?
I think so. I mean, look, well, the injury makes it difficult. I think the health overall.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we're factoring that into this.
He's supposed to be healthy by training camp.
I think Dre Greenlaw could really transform this defense and make it top tier.
Yep.
I think I value that more, even if Evan Ingram could kind of do the same for the offense, but maybe not to as much of an extent because you have Court, you have a better running game.
And Greenlaw, well-rounded. He's your little. I didn't realize it until I first saw him. I was like, wow, you really are 6 feet tall, maybe 5'11" and a half, and just thick. You're meant to be going and plugging A gaps.
Pause.
Yes. Well, then, you have Alex Single out there who's 6'3" and long and rangy. Right. It's just a different build. The fact that Greenlaw is that downhill plug up the A gaps, and he gives you what he gives you in coverage. And I think that's an easy separator between him and Ingram, who, not much of a blocker. Great receiver.
That's
but
fair.
If you're looking for a tiebreaker,
point.
I think that's a good tiebreaker.
No, that's a good point. I'm with you.
2 spots left. Let's hit them quick before we take this break.
Okay.
Sutton should be in there. I'd throw JFM, Cooper, Brandon Jones.
I mean, yeah, Hufanga?
Yeah. I mean, ESPN's top 10 list, they had Brandon Jones significantly ahead of Hufanga.
What about Fabroni?
Yeah, we're not going with the long snapper.
Brandon Jones, I could get behind.
McGlinchey?
Yeah,
you're probably right. I feel like his name deserves to be said.
Well, you said it, so good.
Yeah. But you kind of have to go back to the RJ Harvey conversation because you need a run game with this too.
True.
I see. That's why I brought them up, and it's so hard though because there's two,
and which one would you even choose?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's Sutton for sure. And I think we pick somebody from the defense. Who would you go from the defense?
One of the safeties.
Okay.
Coop. JFM, obviously.
Coop did have 10 sacks.
But even Alex Singleton
was coming off the injury.
But Greenlaw's also coming off an injury.
You have to remember, Alex, 3 weeks into last year, we were saying, oh my God, this is an incredible, how are they doing this? They're lining up with the penny front. They got 5 guys on line of scrimmage, and it's just Alex at the second level making every single play over and over and over. He, to me, is one of the most underrated linebackers in the NFL. He's a really, really good football player, and he covers well. I think that's, for some reason, fans say he doesn't cover. I think the standards for covering with linebackers are just ridiculously high.
Yes, they are.
It's just if you're not blanketing tight ends over and over. He is one of the league's better cover linebackers. But I still think I would probably go... even JFM's probably from the safety's probably in front of him.
For me, with Singleton, it comes back to the original, how you presented the argument, where it's replacement level.
Yeah.
If you took him away and put in a replacement level,
we saw last year.
Yes, I mean, look, they've struggled a lot.
Yeah, but you still had one of the best defensive player, or one of the best defenses in the NFL, even with pretty replacement level guys behind him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
to me, he's not in the conversation.
Yes.
But all the respect.
Yes. I'm fine with Court. I mean, look, you don't have to sell me on the top receiver for the quarterback going into a big year. I think one of the safeties needs this. So.
Okay, which one? I'll let you choose. I think there's a strong case.
You're
for
better
both.
off to choose here. I mean, look, I think in terms of what Talanoa Hufanga can do in the box and help you cover at the second level, to me, that kind of changes things. When you had guys like Darian Stewart, TJ Ward, who were both able to do that in 2015, that's really helped out the secondary kind of be, what's the word? I mean, just constantly changing. You can kind of mix and match. I mean, obviously they had their roles, but it gave you that versatility, I think, when you have a safety like that.
Yep. I like it.
Okay.
So there we go. There's our top 10. Before we hit this break, somebody said Alex Singleton is not this good, man. Yes, he is. I promise you he is. Go back and watch those first 3 games last year and tell me that there are... He was one of your 3 best defenders. There's a reason he was a captain.
Yeah.
You watch those games and watch how dominant he is. I don't know how you come away from that stretch of football saying there's a complaint. And to be fair, that was the best football he's played in his career.
Yes.
Even better than what he was the year before. But go back and watch that, and that man is a monster. A sideline to sideline linebacker who's making tackles all over the field, can cover like that. I mean, again, he's not Dre Greenlaw, and that's why he's not in our top 10. But boy, was he dominant.
What Clifton says there, if Drew Sanders finally clicks, though, I mean, isn't that kind of an easy decision? Especially,
you'd hope, yeah. I mean, it's one guy's 32 and the other's...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in terms of value, I hear you.
Yeah.
I'll hear the argument out, and I will salute him and say you did a great job in many spots.
If this was a top 15 list, there might be a spot for him.
Absolutely.
But yes, he was a really good linebacker last year. Notion. We have
Notion.
Another shout out to give. More of our friends. What are these rankings in the chat too? I don't know what's going on there. Kind of interesting. Toyota, they make a lot of what we do possible. Toyota is the best. We're here in the Toyota Lounge. You guys are talking in the Toyota chat. Toyotas are unanimously, I'll say, the best car. Nobody really complains about that.
Number 1 on the car value list?
Number 1 on the car value list. They've got all sorts of different options. 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, including the 4Runner. More low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. Gives customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. I just watched this thing on PBS about why that's important, but that's not really the time. There are 16 different hybrid vehicles. Lexi was in New York over the weekend, so I had a whole bunch of free time. A lot of PBS.
Hank was hanging out with the place to himself. Oh, Lord.
A lot of college football games, a lot of PBS.
We're glad that he's here without burn marks. That's all we got to say.
That's true. Although I have been scratching the mosquito bites, which concerned her when she got home. Like, what's wrong with your leg? There are 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Tundra iForce Max Hybrid Truck. The SUVs take command of the road and the trail. All sorts of options. Like I said, visit your Front Range Toyota stores, a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Rapp-Owens, Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East, Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West, and Lakewood. Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. And also, Game Time. That's where we get all of our tickets.
Yeah.
Although Game Time does not have Casa Bonito reservations, which I just got this morning for the first time.
Congrats.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Wow.
October 25th.
Damn, that's crazy.
And there were thousands of people in line before me.
Wow.
The options were limited, which is ridiculous. Yeah, but as long as you're not trying to go get reservations, I bet they'll have that soon. Game Time's the best. They have all sorts of stuff. Game Time, not Casa Bonito, is the place to go for tickets. They've got tickets to everything. The NBA. My mom's actually coming to town for that weekend. That's the Cowboys weekend, which is why Casa Bonito that weekend. Also hoping the Nuggets are going to be here. That schedule's not out yet. Hockey, the Avs could be here. One of those nights we're going to be on Game Time looking for tickets. Last minute deals, all in prices. They give you the view from your seat. Lowest price guarantee makes things so easy. It's why I always use them. Went to 20 Rockies games this year. All of those were Game Time. Well, other than DNVR, got my ticket once.
20 Rockies games is you need a badge for that or something.
I know.
Maybe a hat.
That's the hat. A commemorative hat would be fun.
20 game 2025 survivor.
The nice lady Lynn at the top of the section. She became my friend.
Wow, you know the people work in the stadium. That's insane, bro.
Where it's like, yeah, you like show the ticket again, then she's like, oh, you know where you're going. It's like,
you're
yeah,
different.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. Justin in the chat. Oh, just him in the chat saying use the DNVR code on Game Time last week. That's the way to do it. All right. Done with the top 10s. Let's hit this ESPN list. And I'll let you choose. Do you want to do tackles or guards? Do you want to talk Quinn Meinerz? Do you want to talk Garrett Bowles? Or also the rest of the league we'll hit on?
Let's talk tackles.
Well. Okay,
Let's
cool.
talk tackles.
Top 10 list. So, like I said, they had 3 come out over the weekend. I think me and RK will hit some more over the course of the week when he's back. These not defensive tackles. Let me click the link to offensive tackles.
I got it.
I know, not the defensive tackles. We already did that. Yeah, so as we always say, 70 different voters, execs, coaches, scouts, all people inside the NFL. They send in their top 10 ballots. ESPN compiled them, gives you top 10s at every position, some honorable mentions behind. Let's just start at the top, and we'll kind of work our way through. Number 1, Tristan Wirfs. It's probably this is actually one where I think maybe it's easier to hit the first couple. So there's Tristan Wirfs number 1, Penei Sewell number 2, Lane Johnson number 3, Trent Williams number 4, Jordan Mailata number 5. And I think to me there's kind of a tier of 5 at the top. Do you see things the same way?
I do, yeah. I mean, these are franchise left tackles, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
A lot of young players.
Plus Lane Johnson.
Well, yes. Plus
and
Lane
Johnson.
There are
some
Williams.
there are some right tackles.
But Wirfs, Sewell, and Mailata, man, that's a pretty young group right there, and
it's true.
Very athletic guys too.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are the type of tackles you look at and you go, you're just a big athletic human type of thing. Like, you just grew like insanely. You're not just like the old school big fat like tackle just out like a traffic cone. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are out there Penei Sewell's out there catching passes and stuff.
Absolutely. And Penei Sewell, one of my favorite draft prospects ever. Again, like, that doesn't mean quite as much because I've been studying the draft for like 8 years now. But he was at Oregon. He got there 2018 and then was there 2019, 2020. I started covering CU in 2019 and then obviously also was there in 2020. And so I got to watch a lot of Penei Sewell. It was every week. I got to see him in person. I got I think I saw him in person twice actually. But he was special then. You knew he was special.
Oh, yeah.
Just so big, so athletic at that size, and could just dominate anybody.
Yeah.
I think that's what made him unique, is that like you put him at guard, he's bullying guys who are 330 pounds. You put him at tackle, he'll run with edge rushers. He's too athletic to let edge rushers get around him. Like, he can beat just about anybody in so many different ways. I wanted the Broncos to get him. There was really no chance. That was the Pat Surtain draft.
Yeah, so he went
before.
Yeah.
And again, it worked out just fine for the Broncos.
Totally.
But yeah, that's one of my just absolute favorite players to watch. And Tristan Wirfs, honestly, right there too. And the fact that these are number 1 and number 2 on the list, just Wirfs has played left and right. I believe is now still at left. But the fact that these are just these dominant, bully, oversized, athletic right tackles who, again, good enough you can just play him at left. I think that's kind of interesting. That's what the scouts and execs, I think, correctly believe are the best 2 tackles in the NFL.
I mean, we've had this, I think we've talked about it in the draft pod. We definitely talked about it in the office, but it's like, the line has been blurred between the value at right tackle and left tackle so much that, I mean, you're just trying to look for good tackles, honestly. I mean, even you draft some of these guys who are tackles, they end up becoming elite guards. So
that was the thing with Penei Sewell.
Yes,
it's like most of these guys, you look like you're going to be an incredible tackle, and turns out that's what happened. If it didn't happen, bump him inside, and he's an incredible guard.
Yeah,
exactly. And there's just if you draft a tackle and miss, there's a good chance you wind up with a guard. I mean, just look at Mekhi Becton.
Exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, you were a bust at tackle. At guard, you're an incredible guard. Yep. Now you're going to the Chargers, and we'll see what happens when you're outside of Philly, where guys look a little bit better there. We'll talk about two of the reasons why on this list already. But yeah, I mean, those tackles are just ridiculous.
That they are. Both of them, Wirfs and Sewell. I mean, you mentioned Sewell in the draft. Wirfs is the one who had that clip of him jumping out of the pool, right?
Yeah.
Like that was one of those clips where I was like, oh wow, this guy really is like different.
Yeah, totally. Lane Johnson at number 3, 35-year-old right tackle. And then you've got the 28-year-old left tackle, Jordan Mailata, for the Eagles at 5. Kind of crazy to have both, but both very easily belong in this list, right? Like there's really no case against either of them. If anything, you'd say either one could be number 1 here.
I mean, I think you'd probably have some people saying Mailata should be above Lane Johnson just in terms of age and where they're at in their careers.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of the many reasons why the Eagles are so elite. They just draft offensive line so well. I mean, they got both of these guys in the draft, very different situations. I think Lane was a first rounder, if I'm remembering correctly.
Believe so. Obviously, I would have been like 10 when it happened, but yeah.
Yeah, and then Mailata was a 7th rounder or whatever he was. So it's just, I mean, look, we talk about this in the draft too. There's a reason why they all go so high, and the reason why Mailata fell, obviously, is because he was not from America, wasn't really playing football, But it's the traits. It's the same traits that keep showing up. Athletic for their size, like astonishingly athletic for their size. The power just overwhelming. And then the size in and of itself is it's notable for all of them. I mean, Mailata's 6'8", 360 or 385 is what he came in the NFL as. I don't know what he's at now. Trent Williams, I mean, that dude is just an animal. I mean, he's still making this list. So
going back to the Eagles, their front office gets a lot of credit, obviously deserves it. The strategy is go get the biggest, most athletic players you can. Yeah. That only works when you have good coaches, though.
Yes.
Like, you need to be able to take a guy like Jordan Mailata and say, you are just a house of a human. You're ridiculously athletic for that size. You need the coach to be able to turn that ball of clay into a really good player. So there's a second half that I feel like doesn't get credit. And go back to the left tackle, right tackle thing. So left tackle protects quarterback's blind side. Maybe that's less valuable now because with athletic quarterbacks, you're playing more outside the pocket.
Moving the pocket too.
More RPOs where you can just isolate any pass rusher and take him out of the game if you want. But on top of that, the other piece that I don't think people talk enough about is that the right side used to always be the strong side. Like it used
power
to
side.
Exactly. It was 80% of the time or even more. That's where your tight end was. And so you're running that way. Your entire run game's designed that way. Now that is shifting. It's much more neutral which side's going to be. So the idea that your right tackle, you just want this big run blocking behemoth, it's fading away. And I think the Broncos were still, I want to say like 60-40 strong side, right side. You still have kind of that lingering this way. But that's the other half where like the mold of the player you want is shifting. And so like a guy like Tristan Wirfs, playing school, whatever, it all works out. Trent Williams still up there. Everybody knows Trent Williams. He's a beast, 36 years old, still one of the best pass protectors. Plug him out there. He handles it. Bottom half of this top 10.
Yeah.
You've got Rashawn Slater at 6 from the Chargers. Number 7, Laramie Tunsil. Number 8, Deion Dawkins. Number 9, Christian Darrisaw. Number 10, Andrew Thomas. To me, this is where it gets a little more interesting. Like those top 5, like how you want to shake them out, interesting. But who gets included and where here stands out. I think Rashawn Slater, he is a really, really good tackle. I mean, there's some stats from his rookie. Was he all pro his rookie year? I think he was.
So, yeah.
Has had some injury stuff, but to see him at number 6, I think that's probably fair.
And it's another guy, I mean, you talk about in the draft, I mean, I think a lot of people loved him in the draft, honestly.
Yes.
It just came down to the tangibles, the size, and then the dreaded 34-inch arms, which I remember I think he had 32,
right.
Almost 33. So he was like way off the spectrum in terms of what, usual NFL tackle benchmarks.
But just so big.
And that's not to go back to the right left tackle thing, but I think that what teams have decided now is just give me the 5 best and we'll figure it out.
Totally.
We'll plug them in. Also combos too. Like if you have a star left tackle, maybe give him a good guard, and then that can, you have your 2 best offensive linemen on one side potentially, and in the Broncos case, Quinn's on right?
Yep.
So I mean, it's just. You see that more in college, actually. I think kind of comboing them up, like this is our power side. Maybe it's just the left instead of the right, but it's finding the 5 best, and that's what the Chargers have done for a few years, even before Harbaugh and the current regime got there. I mean, Zion Johnson, I remember, was one where Telesco was like, we don't know where he's going to play. We just took an offensive lineman, the best one available, and we'll fit him where he fits in.
What happened with him? Because he was really good. I feel like just didn't hear much about him. I guess we'll hit the guard list here in the next couple days. I'm curious to see if he's up there, because there was a moment where you're hearing all about him. Then obviously they get to add Mekhi Becton. You draft Joe Alt, who just missed this list. Yeah, so second honorable mention. So number 12 on this list. And that's a tackle more than maybe any other position. You're finding these guys in the first round. Like after Slater, it's Laramie Tunsil. First round pick. Would have been a high first round pick. We all know what happened there. But now he goes to Washington, where he's the blindside protector for Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
It's like, well, how does that upgrade them? You look at Deion Dawkins, who has been with the Bills, protecting Josh Allen. Christian Darrisaw, Andrew Thomas, a couple more young guys round out the top 10. But again, just 2 young studs. Maybe not Thomas in particular, maybe not like your big mauler compared to some of these other guys who are in the top 10, but still like very good, very talented.
Oh, do you know what the injury was with him?
I thought it was ACL. Okay. I could be wrong about that.
I mean, he was really, man, you want to talk about an interesting case. He was really struggling when he first got to New York, and then kind of just slowly, quietly settled in, and now is emerging as one of these. I like him having him on this list. I know he missed time.
Yep, me too.
And he got injured, but I thought that, he was really turning a corner and, making it's the Giants. He was making that help make that offense look a lot better than it was at times. So that one stood out to me. Christian Darrisaw is another young one we talked a lot about.
Just right in front of Andrew Thomas.
Yep. Also recovering from a knee injury, so it's interesting that those guys are there. But I mean, shoot, I remember talking about those guys in the draft. Dre loved Christian Darrisaw.
He did.
Still loves him.
He does.
And he was just a very clean prospect, and that's kind of what the quote here says from the NFL coach. He's got it all. He has power, good feet, balance, and range. So I mean, he showed that at Virginia Tech. He's showing that now.
So let's fly through. So honorable mentions, you got Jake Matthews, essentially number 11, then Joe Alt. Ronnie Stanley at 13 is interesting. Colton Miller, 14 with the Raiders. 15, Taylor Decker. 16, Bernard Ryman. a couple names you'd really expect. Ronnie Stanley, maybe a little surprising he's down this far on the list.
Yeah, his peak is, I think we've passed it.
Fair.
But he's still obviously very good at this point.
Yeah.
Joe Alt, interesting for a second-year player.
Looked really good,
player.
though. Yeah. And I asked Baldy about him whenever he's on. It's a really good player. One who maybe gets overthought a bit. I think maybe that was the issue as a draft prospect. Being 6'8", there was a lot of conversation about is he just a little bit... When you're that tall, you really struggle with leverage. So do you wind up with more bull rushers kind of knocking you backward? How do you handle a guy like... I guess nobody can handle a Myles Garrett, so that's not fair. But that sort of style, and it turns out he held up pretty well. On top of that, the athleticism, the polish was just incredible for a guy his size. And I guess you also wonder what happens as he continues to fill out, because that's the other piece is that he's still only 22. His frame is so big, there's that probably means he's just going to keep getting better, but athletically, does he lose a step? What does that look like? I'm curious.
So this is the thing when I talk about, these are just, kind of overgrown humans. They're not big fat guys, traffic cones out there.
Yep.
Joe Alt came into Notre Dame as a tight end.
Crazy.
He's just grown into this behemoth that he is and has kind of maintained that level of athleticism, obviously, to play left tackle at that level he did at Notre Dame and then come in the NFL at that level. So this is he's almost kind of exactly what you're looking for at the top of the draft in terms of these offensive linemen, tackles in particular. Guys like Mekhi Becton. Maybe that's why he didn't work out. I don't know if you look at them put together, and I'm not trying to get into body comparison here, but Joe Alt just looks like he's more athletic. You can just tell. And that's, I think, what the NFL is starting to look at more so than just size and overall, being a traffic cone on the edge.
Yep. And then we get to the receiving votes. You got Brian O'Neill with the Vikings, Charles Cross with the Seahawks, Orlando Brown with the Bengals, Spencer Brown with the Bills, Paris Johnson, the Cardinals, Lucas Gadecki with the Bucks, and then Garrett Bowles with the Broncos, Zach Tom with the Packers. First of all, there are a lot of names in there. Orlando Brown, if he had been in the honorable mention, you'd be like, yeah, okay, makes some sense. Charles Cross, Paris Johnson, maybe have a case to be up there. But you always think about Garrett Bowles and say, okay, he isn't going to be the best tackle in the league, but he does some things really, really well, high-value things really, really well. Coming into this, I would have thought he'd be in the honorable mentions. But then you look at some of the names, seeing him in the receiving votes category, it kind of is what it is.
To me, they clearly valued youth.
I agree.
List.
Totally. So many young guys.
Just looking at the honorable mentions, maybe not the youngest guys, but younger players, Bernard Ryman, Colton Miller, Joe Alt, obviously. But then, you go into the top 10, we just kind of went through all of them. Thomas, Darisaw, Mailata, Penny Sewell, all those guys. So I think that's probably why Bowles is starting to slide down lists like these, maybe.
Yeah.
And plus, he was an older player when he came in.
Totally.
The cliff's coming at some point.
It makes you wonder, what if the first half of Garrett's career just didn't happen? What if the only tape you had was the past 3-4 years, 5-6 years, really?
Yeah.
If you just had that tape on him, where would he rank on this list? I think he'd rank significantly higher.
Definitely.
I think, again, as Jose said in the chat, carries the penalty stigma.
Yep.
And that he does still get called for penalties. Every offensive lineman does. I don't think it's any more than anybody else. And I think as just a pure pass protector, there's a strong case for him to be in front of some of the tackles in front of him, especially as a left tackle where you do draw the tougher matchups more often than not.
Well, that's an interesting point too. He is a true left tackle, and there's multiple, right tackles, swing guys, not swing, but they can play both on this list.
Yep, and it's mattering less and less. But I don't know. It interesting. He's just good run blocker too. Somebody in the chat, Daniel in the chat asked, so they think the Chargers tackles are awesome. Will we trade ours for theirs? Yes. Yeah. Slater for Bowles, you prefer Slater. Youth even aside, you'd prefer Slater.
It's the right tackle.
Exactly. Alt versus McGlinchey, yes, you would do that as well.
Doubt.
You would, yeah.
I asked you this on the draft pod last week, but Jordan Seaton, player for the Buffs. He's only 19 years. I don't even think he's 20 yet, but my God, he is going to be the next one. Not even this
top
draft
tackle
class.
in the country as a recruit. Has lived up to it, and next year he's going to be the top potential number one pick going into the draft.
Exactly.
It's just like how many quarterbacks knock him down.
Would you trade Bulls for Jordan Seaton right now at 19 years old?
It's such a weird conversation. So there's a lot that goes into it. So Jordan Seaton will be a better player than Garrett Bowles. I think so. Yes. That much of that you're probably pretty confident in. When you see a prospect like Jordan Seaton, that's the expectation. Mm-hmm. If Jordan Seaton if he doesn't make 3 or 4 Pro Bowls in his career, I would be surprised.
Me too.
I think there's, of course, the chance that he's the best left tackle in the NFL, just given guys like this, that's what you want from them.
I mean, he's obviously, if he continues on this trajectory, he's going to be in this list in 2-3 years.
And so I think that's kind of the starting point. You also have the longevity. So you say, if you just got him today as a 19-year-old, you have him for 15 years, you're probably thinking, whereas Bowles, now 33, I believe, you have like a few more. So
you squeeze
value of 15 versus 3.
That, yeah.
Now, at this exact moment in time, Garrett Bowles is the better football player.
Of course.
And as Bowles kind of, there's probably will fade and then he just drops off the chart. Mm-hmm. With Seaton, there's like this, he continues to climb as he gets up there. Where do those lines intersect?
Right.
Where is Jordan Seaton become as good as Garrett Bowles? As a rookie, would he come into the league and be that good? Who were last year's rookies? Joe Alt's one of them.
Joe Alt.
So,
oh man,
I know. You had Fatanu, who got hurt with the Steelers. You had Paris Campbell last year,
right?
Latham was last year.
Yeah. Or Paris Johnson? No, he was
the year before,
2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
But
so I would say that there's maybe a 1 in 3 chance. Just looking through that, like Joe Alt, he's better. Like if you could swap Bowles for Alt, you would do it.
Yeah.
So 1 in 3 chance that 3 years from now, to the 2027 season, you have a better tackle.
Yeah.
By 2028, you're saying probably, and Bowles might not even be in the league anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird thing. You'd be sacrificing for a couple years where Bo Nix is on a rookie contract for the payoff later. If you made the trade right now, you'd be happy in 10 years that you did it.
Of course.
In 3 years, you might say, why the hell did we do that? We just wasted
a window.
Bo Nix. Yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
I mean, it's an interesting conversation. The way you kind of describe the career trajectories, they do kind of mirror each other. But look, if Sean was in the position to draft one of these guys, I mean, even this year, Caden Proctor is going to be a big-time prospect. Francis Muiaga out of Miami. He's even gotten Penei Sewell comparisons. Yeah. He's got Cristobal's offensive line coach followed him from Oregon to Miami. So he's got the same offensive line coach. I mean, man, if Sean was ever to get one of these just blue chip, premier, top tier tackle prospects, man, I mean, it'd be like the Bo Nix love all over again. I mean, he'd be going crazy about him, and it'd transform the offense, honestly.
Totally. I said it like a month ago. When was it? I can't remember. I think Caden Proctor is going to be a Bronco.
Oh man.
Whew. I think it adds up in a lot of ways. You need him to slip a little bit for it to work out. I think what was the mock draft we looked at? He was like number 9 or so now. Mm-hmm. And strong case for him to be top 5 also. Like that's 9 was probably pretty low for him. I'm gonna stand on that and hope that it happens.
I love it because we were kind of in that position going into this draft where it's like you could totally trade up, like with just where the team is, where your timeline's at right now. Like you have that kind of luxury to be able to move up. If you see one player, I don't care what position, and you go, this guy could just transform our team.
Let's wrap this up. Here's a weird thought that I had like a week or two ago and never had a real reason to talk about it. The Steelers, this is total transition, but when you're talking about trading up, the team building situation they're in, playoffs for the last 5 years, haven't won a playoff game though. Kind of consistently the exact same team over and over and over again. Try with Aaron Rodgers. To me, he's probably a step ahead of Russ, but it doesn't really matter. Probably not. People are upset with them for doing things the way they do things and not kind of tearing down. My thought is this. If you they're in a position where it's tough to get a good quarterback because they're going to be picking in like the early 20s over and over and over again. That's why there's this case that they should just tear it down and restart. To tear it down, that means you're ditching TJ Watt, you're ditching all sorts of these guys to take things down to the bones. In my mind, yes, you get picks back or whatever for the guys that you're trading and not cutting. You take what you get for those guys. You don't get all of that talent back once you have your quarterback if you throw in a couple extra first-round picks. Like, you don't get to go get another TJ Watt. And that's why, to me, the Steelers are in a situation where, as we're going to overtime, anybody watching on TV, head over to the website, thednvr.com. I think that they're a team where when the time comes to draft a quarterback, you just package those first and trade up. You don't tear down and then use those first to then go trade for talent.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
It's a weird thought exercise.
I mean, they kind of remind me of a spot, less so, and I mean, of course, in terms of, when they won, but kind of like the Broncos post-2015.
There's some of that, yes.
Where it's like, I mean, we've got Talib, we got Harris, we got this whole secondary, we got Vaughn, we got Chubb. Like, at this point, like, you could see the vision of this team kind of maybe not getting back to the mountaintop of winning the Super Bowl, but at least making a run if you just hit on this, the most important position in sports, was this quarterback. And
exactly.
One of the hardest to hit on, obviously. So they kind of lulled into a little bit of what the Broncos got lulled into.
Totally.
But I would say that, I mean, look, Russ and Rodgers the last 2 years are probably still better than what the Broncos had.
Exactly.
In that time.
I mean, slightly, but yes.
I mean, they obviously had Russ, and that went how it went, but like...
Year before when they make the playoffs with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett, that's a very Broncos type situation, totally. Though. And I think the other thing for the Broncos at the time was they just didn't have offensive talent. Like you still had Emmanuel Demaryius a little bit after, but it was an aging Demaryius there toward the end. A few years later, Emmanuel, same thing. And so they... Similar to the Steelers, not only were they lacking the quarterback, they were lacking like the offensive pieces to be able to turn that into an actual team.
But like 2016, 2017, those guys were still out there doing things.
You were still good for then. You were still good then. And maybe that is exactly where the Steelers are, because they do have DK Metcalf. So I guess just flipping the Broncos conversation, the mistake was just not going all in on trading future first-round picks to go get a quarterback, because I don't think the answer for the Broncos was, you know what, just ditch Aqib, just ditch Demaryius, just ditch all those guys so that you can be bad enough to get the quarterback so that you can then build with that when you're going to be using those pieces just to try to get back the talent that you already had and you let walk.
But I think the Broncos kind of did that, though. They went up and got Paxton, which obviously didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
So...
But what pick was he? Like 22?
20-something,
I think. I think for the Steelers, the move for them is to, hopefully this year there's good quarterback process. We're getting into the top 10. We're trading this year's first, next year's first, the first after, and we're going to go get a dude, and we're going to ride with that. And I think maybe they would have done that this year if there were better options at quarterback.
I think so as well. I mean, they were clearly searching for answers. I mean, they resorted to waiting with Aaron Rodgers for however long like he wants to do his thing. So, we did kind of ditch those guys at some point too. So
it's true.
Like, I mean, the Steelers, they're maybe, because it's so weird. They're obviously so far past when they were truly like class of the AFC, right? I don't know, maybe 6 years ago.
But if you plug Josh Allen in right now, then all of a sudden you're saying like, yep, they're probably better than the Bills are. With Josh Allen right now?
It's like dieting, right?
Huh.
You could do the responsible thing. You could eat your fruits and vegetables and get some carbs and proteins in there and do the right thing. It's hard, and that would be tearing it down and doing it the right way. Or you could kind of go, I'm going to go the junk food route. I can go through the drive-thru, swing by, pick this up. If I don't like it, I just go to another drive-thru. Like,
I think
that's kind of where they're at right now.
To me, I think your right way, which I think is the wrong way, to tear it down and say like we're gonna suck and then we're going to try to rebuild from scratch. To me, that's the equivalent of just like, I'm done eating. I'm just gonna stop eating. I'm gonna starve myself. It's gonna get me skinny, but then we're gonna have to like go we're gonna do all that. To me, there's like this, I don't even know what the metaphor would be. You're borrowing from the future to add right now because there's one piece. Because again, like you trade those 3 first-round picks, if the other option is we're going to suck so bad we get it naturally, you're not going to get all that talent back by trading those 2 first-round or drafting with those 2 first-round picks. Okay, and so I don't know what the metaphor is.
I hear what you're saying, but I think that they cross the line in terms of how much they mortgage the future. The Ramsey Metcalf trade, not even really taking a quarterback till day 3 in the draft this last year.
Yeah.
Like, it all just seemed pretty irresponsible to me.
That's fair.
Almost delusional, honestly. Like they just think that they're in a such higher place than I think the rest of the NFL puts them, which may be right or wrong. We'll find out this year, obviously. But it's just, I mean, if I told you this team again, they went 9-8 and they missed the playoffs, would that surprise you at all?
No.
So like, but I don't. At what point does doing that like just make you look like insane? You're doing the same thing, expecting different results. I
think the path out of it, though, again, is to go all in and draft quarterback. And I just don't think there was one worth doing that for this year. I agree. Shedeur. There's the Shedeur conversation.
The whole Shedeur thing.
Shedeur aside, if we go by what the NFL said about Shedeur by drafting him then, you just didn't have the option to do that. And I think that's the way. I don't think it's tank and then try to build from scratch, because then you're just giving up on so many pieces already there. I think it's go all in by drafting quarterback. I don't know. It's just a thought I had.
That's fair, and we can wrap this up here. But
we can.
Last year was an all-time quarterback class.
True. That was the time.
Exactly. That was your time. You decided to skip.
Yep. That was the mistake.
That's kind of like the first mistake, or maybe even
totally. And maybe
the
most recent
mistake.
Exactly. They could have done it before.
Exactly.
So. I think that's where they've screwed up. I was thinking a lot about the Steelers.
And it's just maybe the Broncos are in this situation post-Paxton too. You can't be scared to pull the trigger. Like,
exactly.
If you're in this situation, like, you just got to go do it.
And that's why the 49ers did it. Because they were in the same situation where, like, yes, you could just ditch all that talent so that you're a bad team. And then after that, you accumulate, say you get 2 more firsts, you get to use those 2 firsts plus the 2 firsts you aren't using to trade up. 4 picks. Those 4 first-round picks aren't get you all the talent that you got rid of by trying to suck.
Right.
And so they did what I think is the right thing by trading 3 first-round picks to go get a quarterback. It just turns out it's Trey Lance, and it didn't work.
If it worked out, though, do you know how smart they would have looked?
Totally. So and you wound up with Brock Purdy, I guess. To go back, last thing, that 2024 draft, they had pick 20. Broncos got Bo Nix, last quarterback, at pick 12. Say they wanted to get crazy, they probably could have gotten up to pick 6, 7 if they wanted to trade that first and the next 2 firsts.
Right.
There you go. There's your quarterback. I think that's how they get out of it. I don't think the right answer is tear down. I think the right answer is add a quarterback and then build from there.
I mean, tear down is almost like a last resort type of thing.
It never works in the NFL.
I mean, the most blatant, I think, example of that is the Browns when they just decided to bottom it out, right? And
like the Colts bottomed out. They were kind of forcing the bottom out because of Peyton Manning's injury. And that was like the suck for lucky. That was the one year if you're going to tank. That's the year to tank.
Totally, yeah.
And go. There was the tank for 2 a year. How has that worked out? Like, I don't think you ever look at teams that are just like, I'm sure there's an example of a team that did just bottom out intentionally and lose it. But that's not how it works in the NFL. No. I'm always against that strategy.
It's a fine line you got to ride.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we went over. Thanks, Jake, for doing this.
Absolutely, bro. Anytime.
We'll have a special episode. I think tomorrow's show is actually at 7 and not 11 as part of our What If Week, ranking the top 10 Broncos What Ifs. That'll be me and RK. And we'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.